Hey everybody, Dr. B. I wanted to dive in and bring you some updated information to add to all your pearls from Pillar 1 of our incredible Foundations and Neurodevelopment course. In Pillar 1 of our Foundations course, we dive in, we really hammer preconception, prenatal, and the first year postnatally, right? Okay, so I love to focus on our preconception, prenatal period, and prenatal stress because we know now that prenatal stress is the foundation, is the root cause of the neurobiology of disease. Period. Chemical, physical, mental, emotional health for the rest of the life of that child. It's because of prenatal stress that we have to get that right. So we need to support moms, dads, preconception-wise and prenatally to make sure we minimize that stress load on them. So one of the things that if you've heard me talk before, you've heard me talk about my fetish about choline. And the reason is, especially in the prenatal period, 90% of people in the United States are deficient in choline. About 70 to 80% of pregnant mamas are deficient in choline. What's the big whoop? Choline is needed to make cell wall membranes for mom, for the placenta, and for the baby. And cell wall membranes are essential for optimum cell-to-cell communication. So the choline is incredibly important. And choline is needed to make acetylcholine, one of our primary neurotransmitters that is considered vagal stuff to support vagal tone. So it's a calming neurotransmitter. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it needs to be there in order for us to have that modulation and not be in this chronic stress axis, which brings me to a point of choline. Choline has been well studied for health in the hippocampus, okay, our memory center of the brain, right? So I say from autism to Alzheimer's, this is incredibly important. From neurodevelopment to neurodegeneration, pretty much everything I cover in my courses, it lends itself from neurodevelopment to neurodegeneration. Because in the neurodevelopmental years, we are laying the foundation for potentially neurodegenerative disorders. Back to the hippocampus. Hippocampus is, again, it's our memory center. All right, it's part of the default mode network. So choline is found to be essential for keeping the hippocampus healthy and for turning over new neurons. Neurogenesis, new neurons, building new neurons. The only place that we know that this happens at this particular time is the hippocampus. So it's not only our memory center, it helps regulate mood, it helps regulate the HPA axis. So if it's not up to par and our HPA axis isn't regulated properly, now we're going to go into this sympathetic dominant shift, okay, which is what we don't want, because again, that's the basis of the neurobiology of disease. Well, a new paper that just came out last week, it just dropped in April of 2025, talked about perceived prenatal stress in pregnancy, in the pregnant mama, and epigenetic changes that can happen to a couple key genes that regulate choline. That is huge, meaning mom's under stress, it epigenetically changes genetic expression, doesn't change the DNA of the gene. We go over this all in Pillar 1, so get in there, dive in there, all right? It's all laid out in your Foundations and Neurodevelopment Pillar 1 course. So it's epigenetic changes because of stress that change the regulation of these genes. And these genes that they found in this recent paper happen to modulate choline. And it led to altered neurodevelopment of the offspring. So here's what we need to do. Get them under chiropractic care. Modulate their ANS, modulate their HPA axis, look at supplementing with choline, and watching the trajectory of neurodevelopment on these offspring, because what they're seeing is that the offspring are being born with low levels of choline. And when that happens, of course, we're seeing neurodevelopment consequences, and especially that hippocampus. We really need to, and we're seeing that post-COVID babies, we're seeing less brain volume in the cerebellum and hippocampus. So you combine that with more prenatal stress, less choline, less neuronal modulation. This is what we're seeing in today's kiddos. Dive in, dig in, join me in Pillar 1, and I can't wait to see you next time around for more tidbits from Dr. B.